husband and I almost died last week, and it was entirely my fault. We've been kayaking for years. In fact, we were on a river just last week. That was the very first river we ever kayaked on as beginners. So we're not new. It's not like I didn't know what I was doing. In fact, it was because I thought I knew what I was doing that I got careless. Sometimes it's fun when the river is sort of lazy and quiet to just sort of let your boat drift. Just let it float. I'm aware of all the things that are around, trees that are down, branches, rocks, whatever. You see them, you maneuver around them. And sometimes there are open patches where you can just sort of float around, let your kayak do whatever it wants. Sometimes it will turn me all the way around till I'm facing the opposite direction. And I thought it was really nice, you know, to have the sun on me on this lazy river, this lazy afternoon. But I forgot to pay attention to what was coming up. And what was coming up was a tree, half in the water, half out of the water. So picture this regular old tree, right? Tall, big, fallen over so that some of the tree is out of the water, and like branches, like whole branches of the tree are underwater and whole branches of the tree are above water. Well, normally that's not a big deal. There was plenty of space to get past it had I been paying attention, had I been facing forward. But no, I turned with not enough time. I wasn't keeping track of the distance, and I turned in time to paddle furiously enough to get me sideways when I crashed into this tree and these branches. The water's being pulled really fast, like through the branches. I don't know, makes the water faster. I don't know. My kayak just went sort of sideways, which was all it needed. The rushing water poured in and it just, I kind of got out of it, but I couldn't get my footing because it was sucking my legs through these tree branches, and I'm hanging on and I'm screaming for my husband to come help me. My kayak's gone. My kayak, my life jacket, because I was using it as a cushion and not a life jacket. I know. Say it. Whatever. Say it. I know. I lost my oar. I had some cushions because I have this bad back. Lost those. I had my sandals. Lost those. I had my purse. Lost it. In my purse were my phone, the car keys, my credit card, my favorite rosary, etc. Gone. I didn't care though. I was dying. I was drowning, right? Hanging on for dear life. Meanwhile, my husband is about 100 yards ahead of me, and he hears me screaming, and he has to paddle upstream to find out what's going on. And lo and behold, my kayak comes flying at him and lodges him against this log. And there's so much pressure, he can't get out. His boat starts filling, and he had to swim under this log. He had no idea what was on the other side. I imagine it was tremendously scary for him. He lost everything too. He had his sandals on, but we had a cooler, gone. Cushions gone. He had his life jacket on because he's smarter than me. Lost his paddle, everything. Okay, all of that's gone, right? We finally, collect ourselves. We get to a place where we can just sort of take a minute and assess what we're gonna do. My feet, I'm all cut up and bruised. I had just been slammed around. I could not get my footing. It kept pulling me under. It would have been way better in a kayak. Here I was trying to walk through this swift undercurrent, and it wasn't going well. So we decide to just sort of hug the shore, and we start picking up things along the way. Oh, look, my oar. Oh, look, my husband's kayak in a tree with my life jacket. We got those back. We got the kayak, we got an oar. Oh wait, no, we didn't get that kayak. No, what happened was it was stuck in a tree, and my husband grabbed my life jacket and he grabbed the cooler, which was also in his kayak. I forget if there was anything else, it doesn't matter. But he pushed the kayak to free it, and it went under and flew away again. Okay, so now we have an oar, a life jacket, a cooler, and our lives. We keep going, we find my kayak. My kayak has my purse, the car keys, my phone. Our phones are trashed. There's no hope for the phones. But I found my sandals, both my sandals. I found one of my cushions, my rosary. Okay, things are starting to really look up. So we've got 2 life jackets, an oar, a kayak, a cooler, the car keys, my shoes, all the really important stuff. So we're really just missing one more kayak. We find a place on the bank where you can kind of see the road, so I know it's not going to be much of a climb. So I make my way up that little hill with a bright yellow oar and my bright orange life jacket. And my plan was to, because I don't know where my husband is going to get out. He's going to take the kayak and go down to the get out spot, which we didn't know how far away we were from that. So I go up the bank and I prop my oar and my jacket against the guardrail on the side of this road. And I turn back around to just sort of hide in the brush. I'm wearing like a bathing suit, soaked in like river nastiness. I've got seaweed everywhere. It's just not pretty. And I turn to walk back and there's our van. We were at the get out spot. So I walk down the riverbank and there's my husband with 4 other people. There's a guy on a tractor who is extremely helpful, offers to get a rope because guess what? There's my husband's kayak stuck on a rock in the middle of the river. And this guy on the tractor is going to help us. My husband just has to get this rope over to the kayak, tie it on, and then the guy will pull it out with his trailer. He was a guardian angel, that guy. His name was Neil, and shout out to Neil. There were 3 other people there. There was Rhonda, Luke, and Nathan, who were also absolute angels. Rhonda happened to have some extra rope, which we ended up needing because it was farther out than we thought. And then at one point, Luke saw the rope and he goes, oh no, the rope broke, but it hadn't. It was still connected. So he goes into the water and then the rope broke. And because he was right there, he was able to just grab the kayak. It was nuts. It was nuts. I can't believe how everything worked out that day. So I posted about it, right, in the kayaking group for this river. And, a lot of people were like, oh, glad you're okay. And, oh, the river's so swift. And then somebody posted, listen, I'm kind of a beginner and I was looking forward to going on this river. Is this something I should avoid? And this guy said, well, just don't be an idiot. And it stung. I don't know, because it was true. I was an idiot. When I told my family this story, my sister said, well, I hope you're never going to go kayaking again. And I thought, what? Why would I never go kayaking? I love kayaking. I think you mean, am I not going to be an idiot again? Which also, no, I cannot promise that. Am I going to be an idiot in that way again? No. I'm never going to not pay attention while kayaking. I would like to recommend the Oak Orchard River to anybody. As long as you are not an idiot, as long as you are paying attention, you have your life jacket. Don't bring a bunch of extra stuff. You don't really need to bring that. I didn't need to bring my purse. I needed the car keys, but that I would recommend maybe just sort of looping on like a belt loop or something that you have that's going to stay on you. Not anything loose. I will never bring anything loose again. That might be overkill, but I don't care. The less you bring, the less you can lose. I'm just glad that we're both okay. Everything else is just a bonus.